My trouble with poetry was that I couldn't understand it. I was introduced to it in grade school as simple writing under a bunch of rules. Dr. Seuss introduced me to his cat in quatrains. Robert Frost reminisced about a snowy evening that I never even experienced in California. And then came haikus, with their hard limits and their rules about syllables and seasons. I could not write a haiku without sounding like a caveman. I asked myself, what did it matter that some lines be a certain way, or that I had to talk about seasons or nature or any of these things? So I dismissed poetry. I did not reserve time to slowly read through poems. I only read it for assignments, and I wrote it off as generally unhelpful to enriching my life. A few years out of high school, I started reading again, and I had seen Kahlil Gibran's poem on children. I saw it on Instagram or something like that, and it read, "Your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you." It resonated with me, and I bought his book, The Prophet, hoping to find similar words of wisdom. I was disappointed. And so, I forgot about poetry again. A year later, I read Franny, a short story by J.D. Salinger. And Franny, or rather Salinger, argues about true poets leaving something beautiful behind. And I didn't really get it, but it got me interested in poetry again. Salinger also talks about the main current of poetry that flows through things in his other short stories. And again, I started to try and read poetry. I even looked up videos to explain poetry to me, but that didn't really work. I didn't get it at all. So I just started reading what I found interesting, and one of those was Kwame Alexander's Why Fathers Cry at Night. It had an interesting title, and I was interested in the topic. That was all I needed to start reading it. And then I stumbled across Billy Collins' Introduction to Poetry. Collins was an American poet laureate, which means that his job was to make poetry accessible and appealing to the general public. And he definitely got me. I am not a narrator, but I'm gonna read this to you. This is an excerpt from that poem. I want them to water ski across the surface of a poem, waving at the author's name on the shore. But all they want to do is tie the poem to a chair with rope and torture a confession out of it. Now I get it. Now I get it. Just read some poetry and take it in. Whatever sticks, sticks. Poetry is personal, and you won't like or understand all of it, but in giving it a try, you can find something. Words that resonate with you. And that's exactly what I did. I picked up The Trouble with Poetry, his book, and it's about ordinary things and poems that are written in a way that just made me fall in love with the ordinary. As an example, here's an excerpt from In the Moment. I could feel the day offering itself to me, and I wanted nothing more than to be in that moment. But which moment? Not that one, or that one, or that one, or any of those that were scuttling by, seemed perfectly right for me. Plus, I was too knotted up with questions about the past and his tall, evasive sister, the future. And so, the priceless moments of the day were squandered, one by one, or more likely 1,000 at a time, with quandary and pointless interrogation. So here on paper was something that I had experienced time and time again, and that just made me realize, like, fuck, I like poetry. That's just kinda cool. If I really slow down and read what they have to say, my mind lets me form poetic words into a reality that I can hear, see, and touch those very things. To read poetry, I really have to sit down and give it time. I know it's very common to say that these days things are moving so fast and there's so much information overload. Everything is instant gratification. But that's true. That's what I struggled with, is I wanted to get through things quickly. I wanted to get to the main point, and I wanted to know the message immediately. I didn't have time to read, 3-4 lines that would set things up for me. Here's another example from Lanyard. This is about a boy giving his mother a lanyard, and this is just a small excerpt again. "Here are 1,000 meals," she said, "and here's clothing and a good education." "And here's your lanyard," I replied. which I made with a little help from a counselor. Here is a breathing body and a beating heart, strong legs, bone and teeth, and 2 clear eyes to read the world, she whispered. And here, I said, is the lanyard I made at camp. And to me, this poem was a funny one that got me to re-examine my own life and my relationship with my parents. So yeah, in poetry, shit gets real. And after reading this book, I actually started writing poetry. That was something that I couldn't do because of a mental block. I couldn't overcome that. I couldn't just write poetry for the sake of writing poetry. I could do it for class, and I knew that my feeling was not, really into it. I had no passion behind what I was writing. I just wanted the grade. But now that I'm out of school, I'm just writing because I want to. In my journals, I try to reflect and put down moments that I want to remember, and writing 2 or 3 lines about the day in the form of poetry feels good, like I'm creating art. I don't have any rules about it, it's just write what sounds good, feels good, and looks good. Sometimes I don't have to fully flesh out ideas and details on what happened. I just want to talk about maybe the wind on that certain day, or a bird, or a certain sound or color. And poetry is a perfect way to do that. So now, my trouble with poetry is that I want to write it. But I'll spare you guys the reading of my beginner's work, so I'll end the video here. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening to my ramblings.